All right, what's up, boys? So me and my teammate enfohip has just found like some crazy shit. We found 4 different mollies on a couple different maps, and they're run boost mollies, and basically just like fucking launch shit across the map to like deny certain timings. I did all the timing math, like best spawn, worst spawn. I'm gonna go through all of that. I'm gonna show the clips of the mollies and then talk about if they're useful or not. And then also we might need some community help because some of these have potential, but you know, we just gotta find ways to tighten up the timings to make them work. So let me go through these first. All right, so first up for the mollies, we got a runboost nuke molly that goes from T spawn to the side of heaven right here. I'm gonna be showing these mollies from like order of uselessness to most useful because, dude, this molly is so inconsistent. The timings are kind of weird on it, and it doesn't have that much of a purpose, but you know, with the help of the community, maybe you guys can brainstorm some like crazy ideas for this shit. But if this video blows up, people can maybe find a way to use this, or maybe a pro team's like, oh sure, that's sick, they have an idea or something. But yeah, let me roll the clip of the molly and then I'll explain the timings and everything to the molly. Hit?
Yeah.
So yeah, as you can see, that molly lands right here, heaven, and yeah, it's pretty fucking wacky, right? I was thinking the idea behind it is that maybe it like denies the cross from silo to hut, so then you don't even need a molly top hut, and like it forces the CT to either stay heaven or drop site, and then you just go for like a rush off of that. But yeah, people had some good ideas on Twitter. You know, maybe like it denies the squeaky door molly, or you know, you could throw this and then smoke the molly for like a faster rush, have like an instant blooming heaven smoke. I don't know. If you guys have any ideas, make sure to comment down below, but I'll go through all the specifics of this molly. So first up, this is for anyone who wants to actually replicate this molly and maybe, you know, add on to it. The way that the lineups work is that you want the bottom player to come right here at the end of the tire and then look up at the top of this red box, and then he jumps up and runs backwards. All right, so then that's for the guy who's run boosting. If you're the guy throwing the molly, the show position is negative 12.34 and then 12.9. So that's where you want to look. You can use that to find the best like off spawn lineups. The only spawns that work for this are best 3 spawns, which is spawn 1, spawn 5, and spawn 8. These are the only spawns you can use for the run booster and the molly thrower. Any other spawns, they don't work with timing wise. When you want to throw this too, you also want to instant jump on this guy's head, like that, where you're not like just coming here and then just jumping deep and then throwing it. When you instant jump, it makes it a lot more consistent for the lineup, because this lineup is super hard to hit, bro. I'm telling you. That's why I don't know how useful it is because of how inconsistent it is. But if people can find ways to tighten it up, you know, it might have some use to it. So yeah, when it comes to timing wise, that's what I'm saying. You know, maybe people can improve on this to improve timings. If the best T spawns throw this molly, it takes about 8.5 to 8.8 seconds for it to land. And then for the best CT spawns to cross out ladder and get like cross the hut, get up ladder to heaven. Best spawns for CT side is 7.7 seconds to get up to heaven, and the worst spawn is 8.5 to get to that exact position where the molly lands. So worst spawn, as soon as he gets here, the molly will be landing, so maybe he takes like 12 damage. So the timings are kind of fucked on this molly. That's what I'm saying though. People can find a way to improve it, you know, tighten up timings, have a faster, more consistent lineup. Maybe it could be useful, or maybe it could be useful in the sense that it's not meant to stop CTs from running, but more of like, it's like a rush to like prevent, you know, CTs from maybe getting over to this angle or something. I don't know. If people have ideas, let me know. So another thing I forgot to mention with this molly for Nuke when filming that video is that you actually need a decoy lineup off spawn to break this window. And the idea is that like if you were to find a lineup to molly heaven with the window not broken, it would just become meta for CTs to just break the window so the molly misses. So you want to break the window to find a lineup that they can't like disrupt, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we found a way to do it with the decoy, because you actually can't shoot that. You can't shoot that window out. So here's the lineup with the decoy. So yeah, to throw the decoy, you should have like a third player do it and not any of the players run boosting, because they need to be as fast as possible. You come over to this corner, find this line on the building, kind of like to the right of it, and then you're just gonna walk throw till it passes the other line and then jump throw. And this is a pretty forgiving lineup. You know, break that window and then allow that molly to bloom perfectly. So yeah, the next map we'll be going over is Overpass, and we actually found 3 mollies on this one. 2 T side, 1 CT side, and the 2 T side is mollies for B site. So the first one I'm gonna talk about is the run boost from T spawn to pit right here. And the idea is to like punish the heaven player for dropping pit, and he has to run through a molly if he wants to go for the monster peak. And then if he wants to run through, it's gonna mess up his timings, and he's going to be late for peeking monster and T's going to be out. That's like kind of like the idea behind it. I'll talk about all the times in a second. Let me show the clip first, and then we'll get into the details.
Why do you have a scout, dude?
Make it look like more real.
Yeah, you buy a scout on Overpass.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. So for the way you want to line up this molly, both of these that I will be showing, as the bottom player, you just come to the side of this wall right here and then aim at the top of this light and then just run backwards. And that's all you have to do. And then for the person who's run boosting and actually throwing the molly, if we slow this clip down, you see he'll land on my head and then aim underneath the B. And as soon as he like crosses over that shadow, he'll jump through. As you see, the molly lands right here in pit. Like I said, the idea is to like punish the CTs for dropping. The way the timings line up. So yeah, if the best T spawns throw this molly, it comes out to about 9.7 seconds for it to land in pit. And for the best CT spawn to you know, drop out heaven and cross here, he gets to this position at 9.7 seconds. So anything worse than the best CT spawn is going to get punished by this molly. And if you can find a way to tighten up the timings on this molly, maybe you could throw it from right here around dumpster, you know, maybe save you a 0.2 seconds. It'll punish all spawns for jumping out heaven. So yeah, anything worse than the best CT spawn, maybe the best 2 CT spawns will beat this, but anything else is going to get punched by this molly. They have to run through or smoke it. So like I said, the next molly is from the same position, but instead of landing pit, it lands right here in front of barrels and pillar. Same concept behind this molly. It's just it doesn't force damage upon the CTs like it would if you were to land right here and they run through. This kind of just prevents them from peeking monster from like the fastest route. So yeah, it lands right here. If they want to go around, if they drop pit, they have to like run around the pillar and then come to peak monster. Or if this becomes meta and people stop taking the heaven path, they'll have to come here and jump from take the graffiti to bridge route and jump over site. And it's a little bit slower than jumping out heaven. And I'll tell you the times in a second after I roll the clip of the molly being thrown. Bro, I'm about to sneeze.
Do it. The trait.
I beat it.
Oh, that's hot.
So yeah, with that molly being thrown, a couple timings that are going to be important that I'm going to discuss apply for both mollies, the barrel one and the pit one. The idea, like I said before, behind these mollies is to like either punish the CT for running through or slow them down so they can't peek monster off of a flash off the start of the round and deny a rush. The important times I want to talk about CT side, how long it takes from the CT to jump from heaven to just peek monster, how long it takes for them to jump from heaven, get mollied off, adjust, go around the pillar, and then peek monster, like right around here. And then how long it takes for them to go from graffiti to site and then peek from this position as well. And then for T's, I'm gonna talk about best spawn, how long it takes for them. This fucking train, oh my God, how long for the T's it takes them to get out here and be peeking this wood area. Because that's where they'll be forced to, that's where the CTs will be forced to peek from, is right here. Because they can't peek from right here. Make sense? Okay, let's get into the numbers. So for the best CT spawn to jump out heaven and peek monster with no mollies, nothing, just the fastest spawn, it takes about 11.25 seconds just to peek this normally. If he gets mollied off and has to adjust around the pillar, that'll turn about 12.5 seconds. And then if he doesn't even take those routes and just jumps from graffiti to site and then peeks, that takes about, it's about the same time, about 12.5 seconds. So for the best T spawn to actually run out and peek this position, it takes about 13.1 seconds. If he takes the fastest route, you know, slides on this shit, fucking hits some KZ right here, takes about 13 seconds for him to come out. And you might be thinking like, oh, well, dude, like, that's worse. It's like 0.5 seconds off. Yeah, that's right, but that's for the best CT spawn. So yeah, for the worst CT spawn, they're about 1.4 seconds behind. So if you just take all those numbers, add 1.4 seconds. So for him to come here and peak normally, it's about 12.6 to peak this. If he gets mollied off, that turns into 13.9. If it comes from a bridge, instead of it being 12.5, it's also 13.9 if he has like the worst spawn. And then anyone in between is gonna be around like a 0.7 delay to, like I said, 1.4. With that in mind, that this molly only really works, the idea of it like to get a T out works if you're going against any bad CT spawns trying to peek monster. But yeah, that's the ideas behind these two T mollies. And we'll get into the last molly, which is CT side, which is, bro, this shit's fucking nuts, dude. Oh, baby. All right, so yeah, as you can see, that shit flies across the whole map and lands T-Con. Let's get into the specifics about this molly. This molly will only work if you have both players with spawns 12, 13, or 3. These are like the closest 3 CT spawns. You have the one guy on bottom, run boost, and then one guy on top. He has like an off spawn lineup that he'll come and run throw with. So in terms of timings of how well this molly works, if the best 3 CT spawns throw it, it takes about 5.7 to 5.8-ish seconds for it to land. And then for the T's to cross that position, best spawn takes about 5.5, so he can beat it. And then worst spawn takes about 6.2. So anyone between like the worst spawn in the middle are gonna get affected by this molly. Usually T-side overpass, there's at least like 4 people coming towards, they're coming through this area. You usually have 2 people going, you know, out playground, 2 people going con. So all 4 of these people had to respect this molly, and especially if they all have shit spawns too, or everyone's gonna take like 30 damage from it. To line up this molly as CT, as the run booster, you just come to the edge right here, and then you look at the top right of that sign. When you're running to the edge though, don't come here and drop. This takes longer. You want to be as fast as possible. You want to just run to the side, turn around as you run around, come here, and then start running backwards. Now, if you're the guy who's throwing the molly, the way to line this up, you want to use that show position coordinates I found, and find some off spawn lineups. I don't know them off the top of my head. We just found one for the video. But you come to the right, and then you stop till your crosshair hits like the edge of that bush right there. And then you jump on the player's head, and you run and jump throw when those purple flowers like hit the corner of your screen. And this is like the most accurate way we found to throw this molly. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of the video. Like I said, if you guys can find ways to tighten up these timings or improve them in any way possible, better lineups, whatever, you know, make sure to leave a comment down below. Huge credit to enfohip. Actually, pretty much all credit to enfohip. These mollies wouldn't have been found if it wasn't for him. You guys make sure you check out his channel at enfohip at youtube.com or whatever the fuck, however it goes. He's got some good videos out there too. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully, you know, pros start using this shit, and it's got like some weird unique name that ties back to us, like the Wizard Molly, because that's our fucking team name or something. But yeah, you guys have a good one. Adios.